Hello everybody, happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. I'm so happy that you could join me tonight. My name is Mandy Van Havermont and I am an independent demonstrator from with Stampin' Up! From Grey Eagle, Minnesota. I'm ready for autumn. I don't know about you guys, but I am so ready for fall. Fall is my absolute favorite season. I love the colors. I love everything about fall. I love the trees. It's just, I love the cooler weather. It makes me so happy. So tonight we are going to be playing with the Autumn Leaves bundle from the mini catalog. It is an absolutely stunning set. I'm actually going to be doing a community education class with this set. So if you like what you see and you're interested in that, the community education class will be in October. I believe you have to sign up by October 15th. I can't remember the exact date. I will post that on my Facebook page. But let's get stamping. I'm going to turn the camera around and we are going to get stamping with some Autumn Leaves bundle. Hold on one second. All right. So let's get going here. That stamp set right there is the Autumn Leaves. Let's get those out of the way. I'm going to try to make it without those tonight. Autumn Leaves bundle. This is the stamp set. It comes with some phenomenal dies. Some of the dies are standalone. Some of them are cut out the images. So like the big stamps here cut out the images. This cuts out this stamped image. It's got some really nice labels that go with it. The sentiments are great. I'm thankful with the grateful heart. And so then these here little ones go with. It says, so with the I'm thankful, you can put for all you do today and every day and to have you as a friend. And then this one right here is my very favorite. Autumn teaches us that change can be beautiful. I love that sentiment. So let's get stamped in here. We are going to start with, let's see, we're going to start with this one here, which is this card right here. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit. So I'm going to pull in a copper clay in a crushed curry ink pad. We are going to use a sheet of 8.5 by 5.5 copper clay, and that's scored down the middle at 4 1/4. I've got a piece of cherry cobbler, which I think is such a great accent piece to the copper clay. Is that not the most beautiful thing ever? Cherry cobbler, 4 by 5 1/4. I've got a piece of designer series paper here. It's called Tartan Foil. This is a new online exclusive. In fact, let me pull it out. It's a new online exclusive paper. It comes 6 sheets. It's kind of like a foil. If you can see that, it's a neat finish. And it's got the copper clay, and then it's also got Lost Lagoon. Isn't that pretty? And pebbled path. So you get 6 sheets in that pack of 2 each of those colors, and I think it is such a pretty paper pack. I love it. And then we're going to need a piece of Very Vanilla for the inside, so 4 by 5 1/4, and then another Very Vanilla scrap. My card that I'm using as a pattern, I used a piece of copper clay for these vines, but I'm going to show you also how you can stamp those. So we're going to be doing both. I'm not going to be using that piece of copper clay. So let's get stamping. We're going to just take out our one piece of Very Vanilla, and I'm going to use a Stampin' Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set. It works best with a Stampin' Pierce mat. So my stamps are stuck together. We've got a couple of stamps here. I've got the big maple leaf, and I'm going to pull out my crushed curry ink pad and just ink that up. Just tap it really well, and I'm just going to go straight down and straight up. And I just love the way that looks. It's such a pretty stamp. And now I'm going to turn it. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to pull in my copper clay. And I'm going to pull in this stamp right here. It's kind of like the veins. I was going to say vines. The veins to the maple leaf. And so you can just eyeball it down there and go straight down and straight up. So there's the difference. There is a die in here that cuts these veins. So that's this here. You can see on there. This one, I'm not going to do that vein die. I'm just going to cut it out just like that. So we will need that die right there. And then I'm also going to need this die while I've got it open. I'm going to turn my paper just a little bit, and I'm going to use I'm Thankful. In my copper clay, and then I've got For All You Do. And I'm going to line that up. This is my favorite thing about photopolymer stamps, is you can look right through what you're doing and see where you're stamping. So I'm thankful for all you do. Love that sentiment. All right, close those up. So now we're going to pull out our plates. So we're going to set up a standard cut-in sandwich. We need a plate 1, a plate 2, and 2 plate 3s. So we've got plate 1, plate 2, 1 plate 3. Excuse me. Going to set that on there. Line that die right up to the edges like that. I'm going to grab a Post-it note. And just stick that down. And then I will take this little label die, the smaller label die, the longer, narrower one, and do the same thing. I'm going to stick that right down. So now we're going to put plate number 3 on top, and I'll run it through the cut and emboss machine. So now we're going to take a peek. So it cut off my little stem, but that's okay because it doesn't really show much on the card anyhow. It's not really an issue at all. Okay, and I've got that piece right there. This is a scrap. So I will, where did my stamp set go? Here it is. Put these back in so I don't misplace them, because that can happen easily. All right, and I'm going to use my cut and emboss machine one more time, and I'm going to be pulling in with this suite, the whole suite. There's a embossing folder called Distress Tile. Such a pretty embossing folder. Mine got a little overly loved over the weekend. Still will work out just fine. And I think that if I were to heat that embossing folder up just a little bit and set something on there, it would flatten back out. But I'm not too worried about it. It doesn't affect the performance of it at all. Okay, so now this is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm going to use the diagram, plate number 1 and plate number 4. So I've got plate number 1 and plate number 4. Let's run that through the cut and emboss machine. And I do have to say this stamp set, this bundle, is maybe a little bit more for an avid stamper, but it's not overly complicated for an avid stamper. Isn't that like the most beautiful embossed image ever? I think it's so pretty. Okay, so let's get to it here. We're going to fold our copper clay, grab my bone folder and just burnish that. We can put this right onto the inside right away if we want to do that. Inside will be finished then. I don't usually put a whole lot of sentiments on the inside of my thank you cards. I just don't. I like to be able to write a note for what I'm thankful for. So usually I'm writing letters or writing long notes, nice notes inside of them. So we're going to put our cherry cobbler, mount that right on there, center that. Is that not the, oh, well, that's a pretty color combination. Okay, now this piece here, I'm going to take a little bit of ribbon, and this ribbon is actually out. This is part of the bundle, also part of the suite. I can't recall the name of it right off the top of my head. It is out of stock right now, but it will be coming back. It's a beautiful, beautiful natural finished ribbon, and it just is so nice. Oh, there's the other side of the tartan foil, by the way. Didn't show you that. I'm more excited about that side, to be honest. So I just put a little bit of adhesive there. I stick that down, wrap it around, and that is how I get that to stay. So now I will put a little bit more adhesive on there. And I'm just going to center that right on here. So elegant looking. All right, so let's grab some dimensionals. Going to turn that over. This is really a pretty simple card, right? It's pretty straightforward, but it's so elegant. That's gonna be good. We're gonna call that good. And I'm going to stick that right on top of that ribbon, just like that. And now I am going to put this, I'm putting it so that you can see that ribbon behind there. And see, this is why it doesn't matter that that stem got cut off. We're not going to see it anyhow. So I'm just going to put one dimensional right there. And I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal right there. Don't forget to pull the backing off your dimensional, otherwise it's not going to stick. Follow me for more tips. Oh, yes. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to slide one more under there, just because I don't like how that's saggy right there. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Put one more right there. Perfect. All right. So that is card number 1, if you want to take a screenshot. And this designer series paper here is from the, what is it called? Oh Holy Night. This is actually the Old Holy Night designer series paper from the September to December mini catalog also. So this is Christmas paper here. I just decided to change it up a little bit and use the tartan foil to show you tonight. So few different options in there, but I think that's such an elegant looking card. I just love it. All right, card number 2. This card we actually made at Stamp Camp on Saturday in Sock Center, which was so much fun. I'm going to be using a Cajun Craze ink pad, and I will also be using the Crushed Curry ink pad. If you're wanting to see, if you're looking at the copper clay and saying, gosh, copper clay, it looks a lot like Cajun Craze. There's similarities, but copper clay is definitely more brown. So here's the copper clay, here's the Cajun Craze. It's way more like a terracotta pot, I would say the Cajun Craze is. This is a little bit more brown, the copper clay. So just for your references, they are different colors. So let's see here. I'm getting rid of the copper clay. We're going to be using Cajun Craze and Crushed Curry. So I've got a piece of, this is the card we're making. Should show you that right off the bat. I've got a piece of Very Vanilla, and that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. I do believe this is thick also, just in case you're keeping track there. A piece of Blackberry Bliss, 4 by 5 1/4. I absolutely adore Blackberry Bliss with fall colors. I think it is just so striking. It's awesome. And then I've got a piece of this beautiful oxidized copper designer series paper. This is actually out of stock as of right now, the day that I'm recording this. It should be coming in beginning of October 2023. Super beautiful paper. Love, love, love that paper. So that is 2 by 5 1/4. And then I've got some scraps. I've got a Very Vanilla scrap, Crushed Curry scrap, a Pecan Pie scrap, and a Cajun Craze scrap. So we're going to do our really simple stamping here. I am going to pull out my little scrap of Very Vanilla and my scrap of Cajun Craze. And I'm going to find some stamps to stamp with. They're right here, right in front of my face. So I'm going to use Cajun Craze, and I'm going to do that sentiment that says, autumn teaches us that change can be beautiful. And this is such a beautiful font too. Oh, it's just, I love everything about it. So stamp straight down, straight up. It's so pretty. I love it. Okay. Moving on. Crushed curry. I'm going to take my crushed curry, and I've got my 2 little leaves here. My husband could tell you which kind of leaves they are. I cannot. I know they're not oak leaves and they're not maple leaves. I don't know. They're yellow leaves today. All right, so we're going to be doing some cutting. We're going to pull out our plates again. So I've got my plate number 1. Plate number 2, plate number 3. I'm going to be using these again. All right, and then I've got all of these. And here's one of my favorite things about this set. We've got 2 of the oak leaf dies, and we've got 2 of the maple leaf dies. So we can do a lot of die cutting here all at one time. I'm going to flip that around just so that I can set it on easier. So we're going to... Excuse me, I've been fighting off just a bit of a cold all week, so just hanging on. We're going to stick that down, and we will put, don't need the stamp, I need the dies. We're going to line that up with our stamped image and attach those down. Now, I've got my pecan pie and my Cajun Craze. I'm going to do my maple leaves in Cajun Craze. And I'm going to do my oak leaves in pecan pie. Maybe that is correct. Maybe it is not, like a real botanist would say. I don't know. But I sure think they're pretty. So let's run those through the cut and emboss machine quick. And then take them all apart. And if they stick in, just take your pick tool or a pin or a paper clip, whatever you use to poke your dies out. It'll just pop right out of there for you. So we've got 2 of those. A maple leaf, and another maple leaf. Look at the details on here too. Aren't they just pretty? They're so neat. I love them. It's a really, really good fall set. So, all right, then we've got our yellow leaves there. And our sentiment. Is that not the prettiest thing ever? So cool. All right. So while I've got my cut and emboss machine out here, my plates out, I'm going to pull out that distressed, here it is, the distressed tile embossing folder again. Excuse me. And I'm going to put my Blackberry Bliss in there. So I've got plate number 1, plate number 4, and the embossing folder. Run that through the cut and emboss machine. And there we go. So pretty. So pretty. All right. So let's assemble our card. So we're going to fold and burnish that. I'm going to, I like to, before I adhere this panel down onto here, I like to adhere this panel just because if it is too big for some reason, like this one is just a little bit too big, I can trim that off. I think everybody's got a button, and that's one of my buttons. I really, really like it when my layers line up just perfectly. So I'm going to put that on the side, maybe leave like 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch on the side. And I think, oh, isn't that pretty? Just the colors together. They make me happy. The colors of fall make me so very happy. So I'm just going to trim that off because that is just one thing that's a button I have. We all have a button. All right, so now I'm going to attach this down onto here. And there is designer series paper that comes along with this bundle. It is currently out of stock. Won't be coming back in again until I believe the beginning of October. It's beautiful, beautiful paper. I'm just not demonstrating with it because it's out of stock. So I want to show you that you can use other papers with this, this bundle. So what we're going to do is basically just build up. So I put a little of adhesive on the back. I'm going to put a maple leaf there, and I'm basically just mirroring. I'm not doing that yet. I forgot a step. One moment. Whoa. One moment. Okay, I've got a piece of, right here. I used a piece of the braided linen trim. This is that nice, so pretty. If you have this, also you can take this apart and make strings out of it if you just keep working it here. There we go. You can do that and just make the strings. I used this ribbon because I liked the texture of it a little bit better. It made it so it wasn't quite so straight. If you take the others apart, it's very straight. So I thought this added a little bit different dimension. It also doesn't leave quite as many fibers when we take it apart. So the fibers tend to get into your ink pads and into your stuff. I just liked this to take this one apart a little bit better. So we're going to do that quick. And you need about a 3 to 4 inch piece of ribbon. So really it's a very good way to use your ribbon and not use a lot of ribbon. So, because sometimes we like to conserve our stuff, right? We like to get as much out of it as we can. So this is a great way to kind of stretch it a little bit. And if you get to where it's kind of takes a long time to get through, turn it over and do the other end. This comes apart beautifully. So I think it's such a fun little trick. Okay, so now we can just take it all apart. Okay, now I can put it on there. So let's see. I want my strings to go this way. I'll probably end up turning that over again before I put it on because that's how I am. Okay, so I'm putting them all together. I want them to go like this. And again, I'm just sticking it onto the back there. There's no right or wrong way. It's supposed to be kind of a shabby looking way of doing things. Okay, so now I'm going to put my maple leaves on. And I'm just mirroring them with each other. Kind of like that. And then we're going to take our oak leaf. And if you need to put more on, put more adhesive on. Do the same back here. And then I'm going to put my yellow leaf. See, I need more adhesive right here. My thing looped. Let's get that out of there. There we go. Never ever take one of my cards apart in the back. I'm telling you, you're going to go, holy man, what was she doing? She was, she was creating. Let's get real. Creation can be messy. All right, and then this I'm just going to tuck in the back just as a little pop of color. All right, so now that that's all together, what I do is I flip it over and I grab my dimensionals. I grab my dimensionals, which I had earlier. There they are. And I just put them literally right on the back of some of those leaves. I put one on my white part, or on my very vanilla part. I kind of fill it up. Just like that. And so when this gets stuck down, it looks kind of flimsy now, but when it gets put on here, it really sticks nicely. My dimensional, I can see it. Okay, I'm happy now. Okay, there we go. All right, isn't that just pretty? I love those colors together. I love the Blackberry Bliss with the autumn colors. I think it is just phenomenal. So there is card number 2. If you want to take a screenshot of that. So those are our cards tonight. Now flip the camera around. And I want you guys to let me know, are you ready for Christmas? Are you ready for me to start making Christmas cards? Because I'm not sure that I'm ready. To be honest with you, I know that I need to get going on it, but it's just fall outside and I love fall. So I don't really have any announcements tonight. If you're interested in the Autumn Leaves class, community education class, let me know. If you're too far away for to join the community ed class, get a hold, and you're interested in it, get a hold of me, because I'm thinking about trying to put together some putting together that class for other locations other than the community education itself. So get a hold of me if you're at all interested in the Autumn Leaves class and can't attend that night through the Melrose Community Education. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you again here next Friday night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.